Welcome back once again. It's time for the Golden Age at DC Comics 365 days, when I take this well-loved coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends almost 2 decades ago. It's been surfing all of my coffee tables ever since. What goes great with I need more coffee. What goes great with coffee table books and coffee table talk and coffee tables is good coffee. I gotta brew another French press here. Tanzanian peaberry, good stuff. And what else is good stuff? Talking comic books with you. This is a 2004 hardcover coffee table book published by Abrams Press. It was written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and Jeff Spear. The link to the Amazon page is in the description if you want your own copy, and it makes a great gift. And this has given me so many conversations. I predict this is going to give me 365 different conversations about comic books just this year. What do you think? Are you part of this conversation? Leave a comment in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. So let's open this book up, crack the book open to today's date, and use it for its intended purpose, a page a day. It's April the 23rd, and it's probably one of my favorite characters growing up. I've always loved the Marvel family. I've always loved Shazam, the original Captain Marvel of Fawcett Comics, and the Marvel family. Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. Great story. Just because I always loved his outfit. I loved how it complemented his the Mary and Captain, yet was distinctly his own. And there's just a lot to his character too. We're going to get into him today. We're going to talk about Freddie Freeman Jr. Freddie Freeman, Captain Marvel Jr. And yeah, this is we're gonna talk. You see this? He's got a red cape with gold trim and a blue outfit where it's red on Mary and Captain. So let's. This is art by Mac Rayboy from Captain Marvel Jr. number 12, October of 1943. He had his own running title until 1953, I believe. Yeah. We're going to get to that too in just a second. But let's read the blurb first, and then we'll read the funny book page too. And Freddie Freeman needed a crutch to get around after being injured by Captain Nazi. But he had no such problem when he turned into Captain Marvel Jr. In fact, he's able to hold this falling plane aloft, but he finds actually controlling it harder than I expected with those powerful engines running. One suspects that his adult namesake would not have these troubles. Captain Marvel Jr. may have been a superhero, but in the hierarchy of the heroic, he was still only a kid after all. I must save Colonel Wade if he isn't already dead. And he becomes the mighty Captain Marvel Jr. Captain Marvel Jr. holds up the plane, as we can see here with the gutters. And it's not just a clean gutter too. We can see that Captain Marvel Jr.'s hair his head right here is, in between the gutters here. And here we have a narrative caption, and these are narrative captions right here, and these are dialogue bubbles. And yeah, that is Freddie Freeman, Captain Marvel Jr. Let's read a little bit about him. I think it's an interesting story. He was disabled, and he had a very kind of interesting alter ego story. So let's read from the wiki, because this is why you tuned in, to hear another person reading from wikis. Captain Marvel Jr. is a fictional superhero originally published by Fawcett Comics. Remember, Fawcett Comics were the direct competition to DC Comics, and they were bought by DC Comics in 1956. And therefore, Captain Marvel Jr., and Mary all became retroactively DC universe of the Golden Age, and currently published by DC Comics, a member of the Marvel Shazam family, a team of superheroes associated with Captain Marvel Shazam. He was created by Ed Herron and Mac Rayboy and first appeared in Whiz Comics number 25 in December of 1941. So America was just entering World War II in the Pacific Front, but Freddie Freeman, his origin is he was injured by the villainous Captain Nazi, who was a German super villain who had a large swastika on his chest and this green and yellow and red outfit, and he fought against the Fawcett. He was a big Fawcett Comics enemy. So, Captain Marvel Jr.'s alter ego was Freddie Freeman. He was a disabled newsboy saved by Captain Marvel from the villainous Captain Nazi. To save the dying boy's life, Captain Marvel Shazam shares his power with Freddie. By saying the name, Captain Marvel, Freddie is transformed into Captain Marvel Jr., a blue costume version of himself, possessing powers of superhuman strength, speed, wisdom, and more. Junior derived his powers from Captain Marvel himself, while the other Marvels derived their powers from the wizard Shazam. Unlike Captain Marvel and the modern-day version of Mary Marvel, Junior remained a teenager in his transformed state. And over the years, I remember Judd Winnick had this really interesting 1 year later, it was after Infinite Crisis, that Freddie Freeman became the new Shazam. He had to grow up and become the new Captain Marvel, and it was like that way until Final Crisis. And he's still around, and there's a new 52 version of the Marvel family that was interesting. I really, it's again, it just strays from the original recipe, yet it is, seeking to remain modern and seeking to remain, contemporary. I got no issues with the diversity and representation of the new Marvel family at all. I find it to be really interesting. I like the different, but all the different colors of the different, and over the entire. It's very. There are several members of the new Marvel family, and it's very Power Rangers-y, very Sentai Squad, when that's not the brand of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel that wasn't it. I know Jeff Johns really tried hard on that, and because then there was the whole, battle about Captain Marvel and Marvel Comics, claiming the trademark of that, and that's strictly Carol Danvers on that side of the aisle, and that from henceforth it's just Shazam now. He's no longer Captain Marvel. So I wonder what that means for Captain Marvel Jr. in the post-Flashpoint, post-New 52, post-Rebirth, and post-Dark Crisis, post-Death Metal. See how much it takes to be a comics book fan these days? Let's see. In the finale of Shazam, the backup of Justice League Volume 2, 21, Billy shares his power with his foster siblings. By saying Shazam now, Freddy becomes an adult superhero with shoulder-length blonde hair and the traditional Captain Marvel Jr. color of blue for his costume. When he wants to be called King Shazam as a nod to Elvis Presley. And that was done, too, also in Alex Ross and Mark Waid's Kingdom Come, where Freddy is King Shazam, Mary is his wife, Lady Shazam, and their son is called the Wiz, and which is also a reference to Wiz Comics, which that was the first appearance of Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, for Fawcett Comics. And so, what do you think? What do you feel about Captain Marvel? I love sidekick outfits. The sidekick costumes are just great. I love that. I love the look of Freddie Freeman's Captain Marvel Jr., that blue outfit. It's kind of like how Bucky, his domino mask and the double-breasted, dark blue suit and with the red boots and the red gloves complemented Captain America. Or how, like, Wally West's Kid Flash outfit was this really awesome just compliment to Barry Allen's Flash. I love really well done sidekicks or teenage assistants or whatever you want to call them these days. Kid sidekick. How's that? Let's be classic and traditional. But yeah, let's look at the art one last time before we say goodnight. And but yeah, that's Captain Marvel Jr. And hands down, one of my favorite characters. I loved it because, well, he lived in squalor too. He lived in a hovel in his normal life. He was a newspaper boy, and he was disabled, and he was able to transcend his limitations with a magic word. I grew up with asthma. I mean, I didn't, I couldn't play sports. I mean, I was limited as as a kid too, and I just. I tried. I played a little street hockey, but Mom would never let me on skates. She wouldn't let me play, ice hockey, but that's okay. I did that when I was an adult. But thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, we've been talking about Captain Marvel Jr., Shazam, and the Marvel family. It's the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days. The golden age of DC Comics runs from 1938 to 1955. The Silver Age from 1956 to 1970. The Bronze Age, 1970 to 1985. I'm a Bronze Age baby. And apparently we're in some kind of nebulous catch-all modern age of comics from 1985 until now. I would love to talk more about that. But leave a comment in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you could be so kind. I'd love to earn your subscription. I make cooking videos. I'm a professional chef. I'm a spiritual guy and ordained minister. We talk about gratitude here and spirituality. And we also talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we crack the book and turn the page tomorrow. Good luck. God bless. Namaste. Hope the sun keeps shining, and it's a wonderful day. It's always a wonderful day when you get to talk about comic books for a couple of minutes in your day. So hopefully you're part of the conversation too. Thank you so very much, and hopefully see you tomorrow, okay? Bye.